for Catholics, the way that you belong to God is by belonging to the Roman Catholic Church.
So why don't we dig in? What's the first bit of the Catholic worldview?
Okay, so let's think about the idea of unity. How does the Catholic Church hold together as a whole? In their view, how does the Christian Church hold together? How does the world hold together as a unity? Because the word Catholic means universal or according to the whole. So for Catholics, the whole idea of unity is really, really important. They actually believe that the Catholic Church unites the whole world together. Because of that, for Catholics, belonging to the Catholic Church is really important. And next week, that's going to be one of the big areas that we dig into.
Yeah, and I guess some of the questions that come to my mind is it's interesting thinking about things like if they think that they unify the world through the Catholic Church, how I think most Protestants or not religious people would not see that at all. So that I'm really excited to explore that idea.
Yeah. One of the things I think is helpful as we start to dip into this area is to think about, well, what's the practical value of this? Because these are kind of big thoughts we're having, you know. How do we relate in the world? How is the world unified? Where is truth? Yeah. But understanding these things actually have a lot of practical spin-offs. I'll give you a few examples. Yeah. For example, because Catholics believe that the Catholic Church unifies the world, belonging to the Catholic Church becomes much more important for Catholics. So as a Protestant, I don't necessarily feel that I need to always belong to the Anglican Church to be Christian. If circumstances changed in my life, and for instance, when I was doing a part of my training to be a general practitioner, I moved up to Foster, which is 500 kilometres away from my home. And the Baptist church there was just doing a fantastic job of teaching the Bible. And I joined the local Baptist church and was loved and cared for and taught the Bible really well from these particularly older Baptist men. Whereas now I'm back in Sydney, I'm in and serving in an Anglican church as a minister, and that's been a great place where I can teach the Bible and learn from scriptures and gather together with God's people under the Bible. So as a Protestant, that makes sense to me. As a Catholic, that doesn't make sense at all.
I've done the same, where I grew up in what was called the Christian and Missionary Alliance, which is a largely Canadian denomination. And then I worked in the Anglican Church, which I wasn't really theologically an Anglican, but they were really happy to have me. We were super united over scripture. And then now we go to a Church of Christ, and it's the same thing. And even when I speak to people who I know who are Catholic, it's one of those things where it's this sense of, I'm Catholic, you're Protestant, but they don't even necessarily ask, what church is it that you go to?
So once you understand how important belonging to the Catholic Church is for Catholics, because they believe that the way that you belong to God is by belonging to the Roman Catholic Church, you start to think about the ways that you relate to Catholics, either one-to-one or in small groups, or if they come to our churches. What are some of the things that we do to make Catholics they feel like they belong in our churches when they come? Because they're looking to come to church to belong to God. Are there things that we do in our churches, in our small groups, in our interpersonal relationships that make Catholics feel like they don't belong, which are perhaps unnecessary? So teasing out some of those things can be really helpful in our relationships with people from a Catholic background.
In my mind, that almost seems like the key, because if we can make Catholics feel like they belong, with us in any way, right, then I feel like that unlocks the rest of the conversation.
It's a very, very good place to start.